right. Welcome, everyone. And hello, Zoomers. I apologize for the technical difficulties over the past couple weeks. We'll see how it goes today. It's hard to tell what's going to happen, but I know last time we lost connection and then it came back and there was no sound. So if there's not any sound on Zoom, you're always welcome to unmute yourself and yell at me and let me know there's no sound, or if you can't see or something like that. That's okay. All right. Great. So hopefully the internet works well, and let's begin. So we can take our thumbs and tuck them into our fingers, let our hands rest on our thighs. And yeah, if you'd prefer to stand while we're doing this, you're welcome to stand. If you prefer to sit, you can sit. If you want to lay down, you can do that too. There are options. And so just taking a few moments to begin by bringing our awareness to the three treasures: the Jing, the Qi, and the Shen. And we usually go through those one at a time, starting with the Jing, which we can think of as the body, the alignment of our body, the sensations of our body. We can think of it as the earth beneath us, so just grounding into the earth, feeling the support. We can think of it as the substance. That's a broad term on purpose. So just feeling into substance. And as you settle in to your body and your alignment to the earth, it may happen automatically that you become more aware of your breath, and so you can expand your awareness to include the second treasure, the Qi, the movement of the breath. And not only the breath that's moving into and through your body, but also the breath that's going on outside around you. The quality of the room that you're in, or the quality of space that you're in. Just tuning into the subtle movements. And as we maintain an awareness of our bodies and our breath, the third treasure becomes evident, just noticing the focus and the quality of the mind, the Shen, what the mind is interested in, where the focus of the mind is. And with each one of these, it doesn't need to be a particular way of doing it. You don't have to have a particular alignment or a particular way of breathing or a particular focus of the mind. We just want to begin by developing a capacity to maintain an awareness of what the alignment of the body feels like, how the breath is moving, and where the mind is focused. And these three treasures are the essence of Qigong practice. They're what make anything a Qigong practice. And so we start with the three treasures in stillness so that we can begin to develop a relationship with them, so that as we begin to move, do things that might be challenging, we can then develop our ability to maintain an awareness of the three treasures when there are challenges to that awareness. And so, while maintaining an awareness of our three treasures, our alignment, our breath, our mind focus, let's bring our hands together and rub our palms together. Generate some warmth in our palms. Maintaining an awareness of our alignment, taking a breath into the shape of our body. Allowing that to be the focus of our minds. And then we'll take a nice deep breath in. And exhale, shake it out, relax. And again, massaging the palms in. Feel free to take one hand and massage the other hand. The base of the thumb, the pinky edge of the hand, the back side of the hand, in between the fingers. There is a microsystem of the whole body on our hands. I'm sure everyone's familiar with reflexology, and so we're giving ourselves a full body massage by massaging our hands and our fingers. And you can take your time to feel what it feels like. If there are areas that are tender, if there are areas that feel like dry or overly moist or whatever, too hot, too cold, too something. Just give those areas a little extra attention. Notice what happens when you do. And the hands, the feet, the ears, the nose, the lips, these are places that the nervous system pays so much attention to. And our nervous systems are so overstimulated. And so sometimes if you're finding yourself feeling a little overtaxed, overextended, anxious, fatigued, whatever, just massaging your hands like this can be a great medicine for yourself that you can access anytime you need it. And then just generally rubbing the palms together again, maybe noticing, do they feel different after just a couple moments of massaging them? Maybe a little more puffy, warmer, alive. And then another deep breath in. Shake it out. It's like a discharge of the nervous system. And then we can refresh. And breathe. And we can take our hands and then massage our faces. And you can go up and out. You can go up and down. Explore different ways of doing it. You can use different amounts of pressure, different speeds. And just like we did with our hands, just notice what it feels like. Are there areas that are asking for a little more attention? Are there areas that feel a little overly sensitive, overly tender? Just give your body what it's asking for. And again, deep breath in. Breathing deeply, letting your breath help you to refine your alignment. Come more into your body, focus and concentrate your mind. And then we'll take our fingertips and rub them over our scalps. You can go front to back, back and forth. You can stay in one place and just scrub. Again, what feels good as you do this? What would you like more of? What would you like less of? Notice those things and then do those things. Qigong is a practice of radical self-awareness and the application of self-awareness. And whenever you're ready, your hands can slide down the back of your neck and around the base of your neck. Another big breath in and out. Yeah. Rubbing the palms, breathing with the whole body. And really, just feel your breath moving through your whole body. The breath doesn't move just in and out of the lungs. From the lungs, it goes into the blood, and the blood carries it to every cell of your body, ideally. And that's what we're doing, relaxing tissues, increasing circulation, bringing more oxygen via the blood to all of the cells so that the cells can breathe and live, fulfill their mandates. And then we can take our palms and we can cup them over our eyes. Gentle pressure to the eye sockets. Your eyelids can be opened or closed. Just giving our eyes some rest. Giving our eyes some nourishment. The eyes are quite literally an extension of our brain, of our central nervous system. So calming the nervous system, allowing awareness to move inwards as opposed to outwards. And again, when you're ready, deep breath and out. Rubbing the palms, breathing, aligning, feeling and noticing. And then let's activate the acupoint, yin tong, in between the eyebrows. We can take the base of the left hand in between the eyebrows and just gently draw the hand across the forehead and off to the side, and then same thing with the other hand. And it doesn't have to be, a focus right in between the eyebrows. Your hand can cover your whole forehead. It's like clearing off our windshield. And also helping to relax some of these muscles of the face and the forehead above the eyebrows, helping to increase circulation through these areas, which can help to smooth wrinkles, so then you don't need to get Botox. We can call this Qigong Botox. No tox. No toxicity. Just using what we already have available to us. And this acupoint, yin tong, the chamber of the seal, the chamber of the authentic self. We're also going over some other acupoints in the forehead, like clear yang, the authentic self, rising up, moving out clearly, unobstructedly. This is who I am, and we're also encountering the external world, the yang, clearly, without any filters. Whenever you make a pass with whichever hand you're using, we can take another deep breath and shake it out. rubbing the palms together and breathing. And then we can take the edge of our thumbs to the sides of our nose and massage from the base of the nose and up to the inner corners of the eyes. And if one area feels like it needs a little more attention than another area, you can hang out there. You can hang out up high over the frontal sinus. You can come down low over the maxillary sinus. You can go in between. And you can play with the amount of pressure you're using. You can breathe through your nose. And whenever you're ready, another deep breath in. Rubbing the palms together, breathing. And then we'll take the tips of both thumbs on either side of the mouth, one hand below, one hand above, and then draw back and forth. Massage your lips. Massage your gums. This will often generate a lot of saliva, so you can let that build up in your mouth and then swallow it down. Find a way of doing this that feels good. If it doesn't feel good, feel free to adjust how you're doing it. And a deep breath in and out. And rub the palms together. Notice how your hands feel. Do they feel the same as they did when we started? Do they feel warmer, softer? Do they feel the same? There's no way they're supposed to feel, just notice how they feel. And then we'll take our palms and we'll make forward circles over our ears. And a deep breath in and out. And rubbing the palms together. So you may notice we spend a bit of time on the head with our self-massage, working on all of the sensory orifices. And this is because the sensory orifices are how we receive information from the outside world, and it's also how we express ourselves. How things from the inside get out, how things from the outside get in. That's why a lot of accumulation can occur in these areas. Earwax, eye gunk, mucus, phlegm, all of these things. So we want to keep things moving and circulating in these areas, in the orifices. So now we'll do a self-shoulder massage, beginning with the left arm. Just swing it up to the right shoulder and it can fall away. And we'll do the other side. And letting gravity do most of the work. Just letting the hand land. Noticing how it feels, where it lands. Maybe bringing intention into your hand as you're swinging it up. Just noticing if that changes how things feel. And feeling the sensation of your hand as it lands on your shoulder. If it's uncomfortable, don't land as hard. If it feels like you want a little more pressure, just intend that to happen. Remember to breathe. Let's do one more on each side. And then deep breath. And out. Rubbing the palms together. Let's open up our chests now so we can bring our right fingertips into a little beak. Find the bottom of your left collarbone and slide out into that hollow space. And then the left fingertips can come into a beak, find the bottom of your right rib cage, and just follow it down until you drop into another little hole. Kind of half on the ribs, half on the abdomen or the side of the abdomen, and then we can tap these two spots, and as you tap, you can make small circles, just getting the lay of the land, and as you're feeling these areas, just noticing what it feels like. You might find a spot that feels a little more tender than the rest of the area. Maybe, maybe not. But if you do, you can hang out on that spot. And you can also feel into the space in between these 2 points, breathing between these 2 points, and not only on the front of the chest, but breathing into the backside of the body as well. From the bottom to the top of the rib cage, facilitating movement of breath, of blood, of lymph, of emotions, of whatever. Sometimes a deep breath in and an audible exhale can be really helpful while you do this. Once you start, it's like there might be a lot more in there. And whenever you'd like, you can then just massage these 2 points, continue to breathe and feel, and just allow what's there to be there so that it can be felt and it can move. We don't have to hold it in our lungs and in our hearts and in our solar plexuses or our heart centers or our diaphragms or all the other places that we're so good at storing stuff. We can let it out and let it go. And then we can change sides. So left fingertips under the right collarbone, sliding out into that hollow space, and then right fingertips to the bottom of the left rib cage, and just follow it down to a little hollow that we all have. And then we can tap and make small circles and just feel and breathe. The bottom point is the end of the liver meridian, the wood element that relates to spring, to birth, to growth. The upper point is the beginning of the lung meridian, which relates to the metal element and autumn and the end of things, of death. So we have birth and death, and in between birth and death, we breathe. We move and we change. Things come and things go. Sometimes we try to hang on to them, or we hold on to them, or we hide them. So bring it all out into the light of the sun, the light of the heart, of consciousness, so it can be felt and seen and breathed, so it can live, and it can die, and it can become something else. And then we can massage and breathe. And then let's do a deep breath in and an audible exhale as we shake it out. So inhaling. Yeah. Rub the hands together. Sighs of relief. They do what they're named for. They help relieve us of the stuff we carry, of the sufferings that we endure. And then let's do a little gorilla Tarzan pat over the chest, just working up and down along the edge of the sternum. If you want to make beaks with your fingers and kind of get into those points in between the ribs, and there will be some points there that will let you know they are there. Lots of held tension in this area that sometimes flies under the radar, and so we're putting it on the radar. Whew. And yeah, feel free to continue to make sounds, do a Tarzan yell. And then you can open up your hands and onto the lower ribs, and if the padding feels good, you can do that. If it feels better to kind of rub and massage the lower ribs onto the abdomen, you can do that. One hand can come over the chest and the other can be on the belly, or you can switch hands. You can bring the hands mostly onto the belly, and you can massage the abdomen and work your way under your rib cage a little bit. Might find some areas of tightness or soreness into the hips above the pubic bone. And again, getting everything loosened up, getting things circulating, getting all the fluid and the lymph that these organs contained just moving, flushing out, clearing out so we can receive in something new and let that move through as well. And whenever you're ready, your hands can come around your waist to your lower back and your kidneys. Continuing to breathe. And then when you're ready, you can draw your hands out. Shake them out. And then rub your palms together. Take a breath with your whole body. Saturating and steeping ourselves in fresh qi and blood. And then let's massage our arms. So beginning with the left arm, a little tap to the fingertips, up the outside and down the inside. Going with the flow of the meridians on the body. Using heavy pressure or light pressure or no pressure at all if you want to go off the body and see what that feels like. You can go fast, you can go slow. You can try all the different ways of doing it. And feel what feels good. And when you find what feels good, do more of what feels good. And if what feels good begins to change into feeling less good, you can then try something else. And then we can come up one more time and down, and let's tap the fingertips, change sides, tapping up the outside, down the inside. And the different arm may like something different than the other arm liked, and that's okay. Feeling what this feels like. And then up one more time and down. Big breath in and out. Rubbing the palms together. We're almost there. So if you're seated on the ground, you can bring your feet out in front of you. If you're seated in a chair, you can either bring one foot across your knee, or you can bend over to your feet, or you can massage your knees and your knee joints, and maybe your thighs close to your knees, or your upper calves close to your knees. And just kind of explore with your fingers and your thumbs, the top of the foot, the bottom of the foot, the top, the sides, and the back of the knee. Find all the little nooks and crannies and just explore. Press. See what things feel like. Find the tender spots, find the spots that feel good to touch. And then if you're massaging your feet, you can use your thumbs to find the deepest hollow on the bottom of the foot. If you're massaging your knee joints, you can find the deepest hollow on the back side of the knee and just apply some pressure there. And then from here, we can bring our hands up the inside of the legs and around the hips and down the outside. Again, going with the flow of the meridians, using however much or however little pressure you would like, and helping the fluids of the legs to move up against gravity. And then we can come up one more time and around the hips and down and out. And a big breath in and shake it out. Rub the palms together one more time for now. And then you can return to a comfortable seated posture. Tuck your thumbs back into your fingers. Let your hands relax back onto your thighs. And check back in with the three treasures. Notice the sensations of your body and the alignment of your body. Breathe and notice the movement of your breath, as well as all of the other subtle energies moving in and around you. The pumping of your blood, the beating of your heart, the circulation of your lymph, the impulses traveling along your nerves, your thoughts. And then noticing that you can notice all of that. And whenever you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes. All right. Great. Any questions about anything?
she said, what's that?
Uh-huh.
And I said, it's a gentle form of Tai Chi. Is that accurate? Or
Well, I mean, I think more people are familiar with Tai Chi than they are Qigong, so I think that works. Chronologically, Qigong came first, and then Tai Chi grew out of that. So, like I've heard Qigong be called the mother of Tai Chi. And so there's that. And really, so the words like Qi can be translated as a lot of different ways. Sometimes breath, sometimes energy, lots of different things. And then Gong ultimately is cultivation, is what Gong is. So we can say or sometimes it's related to, sometimes called work also. So it's like it's breath work, or it's energy work, or energy cultivation, or breath cultivation. So those can work. And then also, when we think about the character, maybe I'll do this real quick. Just grab a marker. Because again, I'm a big fan of understanding things on their own terms. So for those of you on Zoom, so you can see. So the word Qi looks like this. Okay. So this is Qi. And so what we have is this radical up here is a person. And so it's like the question, who am I? And then we have space, and that's where am I? And then we have time, and that's what am I doing? So who am I? Where am I? What am I doing? This is the radical for rice, and so this is also a picture of steam rising off of a pot of rice that's cooking. And rice is something that's substantial. It's something that's essential for survival as well. It's nutrition. So even asking these questions is like a form of nourishment to ourselves. When we think of the character rice, like this is the number 1. This is the number 1 shifted in a new dimension. Together, this is the number 10. 10 is the number of completion. It's like we've gone 1 through 9, that's a cycle. Then we get to 10, which is like we're beginning the cycle again. We've kind of gone around the spiral. And then we have these lines coming off signifying expansion. So there's this idea of completing, like number 10, and then expanding again and beginning again. So you have almost like a heartbeat coming and going, completion, renewal, completion, beginning. While we're asking these questions, who am I? Where am I? What am I doing? Because it's not ever getting to an answer, it's just continually asking the questions. And then Gong is, this is half of the radical, so we have earth below, we have heaven above, we have a connection between the two. So there's this connection, this unifying of the big mystery with this kind of, I guess, smaller mystery, the earth and heaven coming together. This also is a picture of a carpenter's square, like the squaring compass. And then we have a person pushing a plow. So here's this person pushing a plow between heaven and earth, unifying heaven and earth. So like pushing the plow is work, but we're not just plowing just to plow. We're plowing because we're plowing the fields. We're planting seeds. We're growing things that we can then cultivate. So there's this idea of not work for the sake of work, but cultivation. Cultivation of what? Of who am I? Where am I? What am I doing? Again and again and again. So when someone asks Qigong, you can tell them all of that. Like, what is Qigong?
I have always thought that Tai Chi was the martial art form of Qigong.
Well, it's Tai Chi. Yeah, Tai Chi is a martial art just in and of itself. But it can be done in a Qigong kind of way. Yeah. And there was a time in China, in the 20th century, where Qigong was outlawed. Just because, during the Cultural Revolution and all of that, it was linked to imperialism, it was linked to scholarly type of things that were trying to be filtered out of the conversation. And so a lot of people continued to practice Qigong, but they called it Tai Chi, because Tai Chi as a martial art was a little more acceptable and a little more of like, yeah, this is a martial art, self-protective kind of thing, and it's not associated with then studying the planets and the stars and the subtler energies and these kind of lofty concepts like what is Qi and things like that. Yeah. Great. All right. Anything else? Okay. So, just a little bit about where we are in the seasons. So this weekend, we will begin the 3rd phase of winter. And so the 4th phase of every season is either the equinox or the solstice. So the 4th phase will be the winter solstice. The 3rd phase is what we're entering into this weekend. The name is called major snow. The phase that we're coming out of is called minor snow. And so hopefully we'll get some major snow. That would be great. But also this idea of this is the last phase before the winter solstice, which means this is the darkest time of the year, right? Like the shortest days, like the solstice is the shortest day, but we have building up to that. The nights are getting longer and longer, the days are getting shorter and shorter until they're so short that they then start to rebound and get a little bit longer. So this idea of major snow, it's kind of like, I mean, imagine however many hundreds or thousands of years ago when these seasonal nodes were come up with, and like you wake up and there's a major snow, it's like, whoa, like it's dark, it's cold, and this idea of the emotion associated with winter and the depths of winter is fear. And so there can be some fear that comes up, like, are we going to make it through this? Do we have enough to last through the cold, dark times? And when we think of fear, it kind of can go 2 ways. You have a whole spectrum where you can have so much fear that you're just paralyzed and you do nothing, you're frozen like ice. And then you can also have no fear at all and just go for it without thinking about anything, any consequences or anything. It kind of reminds me, like when I was growing up, I watched a lot of MTV in the 80s, and they had this sports show, like Extreme Sports, back before extreme sports were normal. And it was sponsored by the brand No Fear. And so, they'd have these people doing these crazy things, base jumping and all this stuff back when not a lot of people were doing that. And then they'd always ask them, do you have no fear? And it was funny because they would always answer. All of these athletes who were doing this, they'd be like, I have fear. Having no fear is stupid. Like, if I had no fear, I'd be dead. And I think that is very intelligent, and that's when in the Chinese philosophy, cosmology, physiology, fear and no fear, both of those are tempered by wisdom. And so that's also this idea of the winter. It's like, yes, there's fear, resources are scarce, it's cold, it's dark, but at the same time, there's a wisdom that comes from that. Like, we can even tune into what is our own capacity for resilience, for being able to generate heat inside of ourselves when there's not a lot of heat outside of ourselves. What is the wisdom that allowed us to be able to plan ahead, knowing what was coming, so that we could then have things stored from the harvest of autumn, and we didn't just overindulge and eat it all up on one day, but it lasts through, the 3 to 4 months of winter or even longer to get us through there. What's the wisdom of, we can not be so afraid that we can't get close to a cliff edge to enjoy the view, but we have enough fear to not lean over and possibly fall over the edge. It's like that's wisdom in there. Or there's wisdom that says yeah, there's a bear running at me, so I'm going to get out of the way, or I'm going to do something, to protect myself. And so this idea of major snow and these 2 weeks, the darkest, coldest time of the year, it may bring up a little bit of fear. It may bring up a little bit of loneliness. It may bring up a little bit of contemplation of morbid things. And at the same time, allowing that to then be tempered by wisdom and even informed by wisdom so that we might get a little bit more of that. And then we think of, this season as the holidays or the holy days, which is really a way of finding light during this time of dark. There's the Festival of Lights, or there's Christmas lights, or there's luminarias that are put up everywhere, or we get together with friends and family, and we laugh and we share, and we find warmth and light within community. Or we just go inwards, inside of ourselves so deeply that then everything becomes luminous. So that's the theme of this time of year. So things to be aware of. And again, we always talk about these seasonal nodes because a big aspect of Qigong is about understanding what's going on in the external universe so that we can then harmonize our internal universe with that, to be in balance. Because when we're out of balance, that's when things like symptoms arise, ultimately to let us know, oh, I'm out of balance. I should maybe do something to get back into balance so I don't have these symptoms. Whether that's, my back hurts because I'm doing too much stuff, so maybe I need to back off a little bit. Or I have this cold because I've been out in the cold and not being warm enough. Or not, I'm eating ice cream and drinking ice water and salads in the wintertime, as opposed to having tea and soups and cooked foods and things like this. So it's all about the balance. That can maybe be another thing. If somebody asks, what's Qigong? It's like balance, cultivating balance. All right, so that's all I have to say about that stuff. So now we'll get to our practice, our standing moving practice for today. So thanks for indulging me.
That was great.
Oh, thank you. All right. Okay, so it looks like the internet has been cooperating so far today. So hopefully it stays that way. If the internet gets lost, it usually comes back on its own. If there's no sound when it comes back on, just unmute yourself and let me know, and then I'll come and get the sound back on. Ooh, that's a fun kind of light beam. Okay. All right. So what I'd like to do for our movement practice today is one of the kind of traditional classic Qigong forms. It's called the 8 treasures, or the 8 pieces of brocade, or the Baduan Jin. And so there's 8 movements. They're all very simple. And this form it's again one of the original Qigong forms, and there are so many different ways to do it. So if you were to go to YouTube and Google like 8 treasures Qigong, you'll have a whole lot of videos, and a lot of them will be different person to person. I've actually learned at least, I think definitely 4 different versions of this form, and so the way that I do it is kind of informed by all of those. So if you're familiar with the 8 treasures, and if we're doing it and you're like, that's not the way I learned it, there is no one way. There's lots of different ways. And feel free to, if you have a way of doing it, you can do it the way you like to do it. That's allowed too. All right. So, let's begin again with the 3 treasures, but in this new standing posture. So if you'd like to close your eyes, you can. And just relax. I always begin with the feet. I like to lift my toes off the ground so that I can really come into the hard parts of the bottom of my feet, especially the outside edges of my feet. I almost kind of like to start by spreading the floor apart with my feet. So I really root into the outside edges of my feet. I can feel the outside of my legs engage. My knees have to unlock to really allow me to do that in a good way. And when you find that, and you find the outside edges of the feet, you can then kind of back off the effort a little bit. So it's not so strenuous, but you still have that stable contact. Outside edges of the feet, the heels, and then the big toe mound is almost like just a little balance point. There's like maybe 30% or less of my weight on my big toe mound. It's mostly heels, outside edges of the feet. And again, soft knees. And then just checking in with the pelvis, and a lot of people will cue like tuck the pelvis. I don't like that. I don't like rounding the curve of my lower back. We have a natural lordotic curve in the lower back. When we round it, we undo that. We compress the front of the spine. Doesn't make any sense to me. Jake pointed out one time that in martial arts that can be helpful because you engage your abdomen, so if somebody punches you in the stomach, you're kind of toned up. But we're not planning on punching anyone or being punched as we're doing this. I really feel like tucking the tail is almost a mistranslation of just relax your butt. So as you're standing here, rooted into the ground, spreading the floor apart, soft knees, like put your hands on your glutes. And just feel like, are you clenching your butt? If you are, relax it. Relax your butt. Let your butt be nice and soft and jiggly. So the pelvis can be free. As we breathe, the pelvis might tuck one way or the other or shift in different ways. We want that mobility. We want our pelvis to be free like a gyroscope or like a basket hanging underneath a hot air balloon. And then the balloon of the hot air balloon would be our rib cage. So we can think of the rib cage being full and inflated 360 degrees. So not just breathing the front of the ribs up and out, but really breathing into the back lower rib cage, creating that width almost. The width of the rib cage spreading wide helps to create length upwards. So we're not trying to lift up, we just breathe nice and wide, create this space, and you'll feel length in the lower back. You'll feel tone in the core and in the abdomen. There won't be any compression. And as you get nice and full and wide on your inhalation, take up space and then try to maintain that space as you exhale. So we're not just letting everything come back down as we exhale, we're filling up, using gravity to overcome gravity, getting wide, getting long, getting deep. Breathing in between the shoulder blades, behind the heart. And then thinking about the collarbones. For a lot of us, our collarbones tend to round forward because we're driving or we're on computers or we're reading or we're eating or we're doing all these things right in front of us. So it brings us inwards and forwards. And so with the collarbones, you can even put your fingertips on your collarbones and think about lifting the collarbones up nice and tall so that you actually feel a stretch down your sternum all the way to your belly button or even lower. So fill that upper chest up with breath and air, allowing it to cause the shoulders to drop wide and open. And if that compresses your shoulder blades towards each other behind you, then breathe behind your heart. Get wide in between your shoulder blades. And so again, stretching everything nice and long, wide and deep. From the back and the top of your head, think about lengthening up and slightly back from the back of your head, so the back of your neck gets long. The chin slightly tucks. You might feel your big sternocleidomastoid muscles begin to engage, which is what we want. Again, a lot of times when our chests are rounded forwards and our heads are pitched forwards, these smaller muscles have to keep our head up. The big sternocleidomastoid muscles turn off. Everything in the neck gets really compressed, and then we have neck pain and shoulder pain, and we're not breathing as deeply. And so again, collarbones up, wide, back of the head and neck, up and back, neck long. Breathe high into the bridge of your nose. Feel your neck muscles engage, decompress. Breathe wide into the backside of your rib cage. Get nice and lifted and long, lengthening through the lumbar spine, the lower back, soft knees rooting into the earth. So just standing like this is a Qigong practice. It's a standing meditation. It's a physical isometric exercise. It can help you to get stronger. It can help you to improve balance. It can help you to overcome pain. It can help you to become more aware of who you are and where you are and what you're doing. And then from here we'll begin Baduan Jin Qigong. So no need to worry about the breath too much. We'll probably breathe several times during a movement so that the hands come together and they can float up, palms up to about your throat or your face. Turn the palms up and press up. You can look up at your hands. Take a moment, breathe, relax, and you're not stretching your shoulders up. See if you can let your shoulders be relaxed. Elbows are bent, wrists are bent, stretching through the fingers. And then look forward with your hands up, and from your pinkies, reach back behind you ever so slightly, just getting a little more of a stretch. And then let it go. As the hands come down, your knees can bend a little. You can adjust your stance a little wider or narrower as you need. And then again, we can just inhale as is natural. If you want to turn the palms up, you can. Breathing naturally as you press up overhead. Let your shoulders be relaxed, elbows bent, looking up. And then look forward, reach back through your pinky edge just a little bit, and open. Yeah. And then we can inhale. As you turn your palms up, you can exhale if you'd like. And then inhale again as you press up. Hold your breath in as you look forward and reach back through your pinkies. And then exhale. And if lengthening the breath like that doesn't work, just breathe naturally as you need to. So a nice inhalation. You can exhale and relax. Inhale, press up. Look up. Hold your breath as you look forward and stretch back through your pinkies. And release. So you can breathe like that, or you can make it just like one long breath. So it's a long, slow inhale. Still inhaling. Holding at the top of the inhale as you look up and then forward. And then exhale. So find the breath rhythm that works for you. Let's do this a couple more times. Palms up, pressing up, looking up, and then forward as you reach back through your pinkies and release. One more time. Inhaling. Maybe exhaling and then inhaling again or holding. And exhale. Holding up the sky with both hands. Now let's gather. And rest. So just take a moment. In between each movement, we take a moment to rest. Maybe lift your toes off the ground. Find the outer edges of your feet. Unlock your knees. Breathe behind your heart. Lengthen the back of your neck. Spread the collarbones. Check back in. Align. Breathe. Focus. 3 treasures. Next movement, we can open out a little wider. And as we're doing this movement, feel free to adjust your feet. You can kind of heel toe out or in as you need. So we'll bring the hands up. This is the mirror side. That's the window side. So hands up to the chest. And then we'll take the mirror hand, thumb and forefinger out on Zoom if you can see that. And then we're going to send the arrow out, draw the bow with the other hand. And you can get into your extension here and just breathe, and we'll breathe a couple times. Like find your position. Look at your hand that's out in front. Look at your fingers. Focus. Reach through your window elbow. Pull yourself apart in both directions. If you'd like to sink a little into your stance, you can. Spread your knees wide. Root into the outside edges of your feet. Take a nice deep breath in between your shoulder blades. And then exhale, mirror hand comes across. And then like we're drawing the bow, that mirror elbow pulls back, the window hand extends out, and your knees don't have to be bent just yet. And again, take a few moments, take a few breaths. Find your extension, reach through your elbow, have that pulling. And it's not reaching back behind you this way, it's reaching out to the side. Try to get wide towards that wall as the hand presses towards the other wall. You can take a nice deep breath in between your shoulder blades. Get wide. And as you exhale, window hand comes across. And then you can breathe naturally as you draw the bow. Keep the bow drawn as you exhale and sink. And then inhale again here. And then exhale, mirror hand comes across. Draw the bow, inhale. Keep the bow drawn as you exhale and sink into your knees. Spread your knees wide, root into the outside edge. Breathe wide in between the shoulder blades. Look at your fingers, stretch your neck. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, sink. Inhale here. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, sink. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, the hand comes to the chest. Both hands come down and we can inhale our feet a little closer together. And exhaling down. Take a moment to rest. Take a moment to feel what are the effects of what we just did. Where do you feel it in your body? Maybe upper chest, upper back. Opening up that upper chest and back so there's more room for oxygen to get into the upper lungs. So breathe into those areas. Allow the breath to be like a fountain overflowing. Effulgent is the word they often use. Allow the chi to be effulgent. Now we can inhale our hands out about shoulder level and then bring them in. So we'll have the window hand, palm up at the belly, mirror hand perpendicular in front of the heart. So it's like a candle flame almost. We have the stable water below, a calm, easy burning flame above. And then breathing naturally, the lower hand is going to rise close to the body as the upper hand drops. Turn your upper palm face up and then reach up with your upper palm while at the same time pressing down through your lower palm. So you're reaching the palms together. Look up at that upper palm and just breathe for a little bit. Feel the stretch. Find the stretch. Root into the outer edges of your feet, both feet. And then as you exhale, just relax. This upper hand comes down. The lower hand floats up close to the body. We'll turn the upper palm to face up. The lower palm faces down, and then we can press the palms away from each other, looking up at that upper hand. Breathe a couple breaths. Stretch through your wrists, fingers. Elbow doesn't have to be locked. Take another nice deep breath into the side of the body. And then relax. Switch hands. The lower hand comes up close to the body. Turns palm up. And then you can press the palms away from each other. Big inhalation. Exhale. And switch. Take as many breaths as you need as the hands switch places. Get your hands in position, upper palm facing up, lower palm facing down, and then inhale, stretch. Exhale. Breathe naturally. Get into position. And then a big inhalation as you stretch, stretching both palms away. Relax. Lower palm floats up, turns up, palm is now the lower palm, and we'll inhale and relax. And then inhaling the hands out and up, and rest. And rest, I don't mean like collapse. Rest just means we're not moving, but we're still active. Hard parts of the feet rooted into the ground, knees unlocked, breathing wide behind the heart, collarbones spread, lifting through the back and the top of the head, breathing high into the bridge of the nose. We're opening our bodies up with these movements, so every time we do a movement, we have more space to explore with our awareness, with our alignment, with our breath. We're polishing the three treasures. Next movement, we can open up a little bit wider. Hands can again float out about shoulder level. This time they'll come in front. Let the palms come back to back. The fingers point down towards the ground and the chin can come towards the chest. We'll step into this step by step. So we'll begin by inhaling, rolling yourself up nice and tall. You can look forward. The hands come out, and then they're out to the sides, and you're reaching your thumbs towards the ground. So just continue to breathe here. Feel the stretch. So again, it's on Zoom. It's like the hand, we're turning it back and down, opening up the shoulder joint. We're not reaching back behind us, squeezing the shoulder blades. We're turning the whole arm bone. We're externally rotating. And then from here, if you want more, reach your hands at this 45-degree angle. Reach for the ground on either side of you. Feel the stretch under the arm. Feel that activate. The underarm, the lats, the big back of the body. Take a big breath. And then exhale. Let your hands come palm back to back, chin back towards the chest. So that's step one. So again, inhale, open, turning the thumbs towards the ground, reaching through the arms, and then look over your window side shoulder, just as far as is comfortable. Get a nice stretch and get long through the back and the top of your head, lengthening the neck as we rotate, and then come back to forward, palms back to back, chin towards the chest. And then again, rolling open, palms facing up, thumbs reaching down, reach towards the ground, and then look over your mirror side shoulder. And tuck your chin, make sure you're reaching back and up through the back and the top of your head. And then exhale. So let's put that together. As you inhale, you roll up, looking over the window side shoulder, getting long through the neck, reaching long for the ground through your arms, and then release. Other side, inhale, rolling up, palms up, thumbs reach down towards the ground, lengthen through the back of the neck, tucking the chin, and we're really looking for activation on the underside of the arms, on the back of the body. Reach, and then release. We're getting the back muscles and the back of the arm muscles helping us to support our neck and shoulders. One more time each side, coming up, looking over the window side shoulder as you reach through the fingertips, externally rotating the shoulders, getting long and tall and wide, and then release. One more time. Inhale. Stretch, lengthen, and release. And then inhale the arms out and up. And rest. Just take a breath or 2 or 3. And again, check in. Hard parts of the outside of the feet, unlocked knees, breath filling the backside of the rib cage, collarbones lifted and spread, back of the head, top of the head, lifting up and back. Slight tuck to the chin. As you're ready, we'll inhale the arms up overhead, take a wider stance, toes pointed out as much as is comfortable, and then the hands can come out, and we're going to rest them, fingers in, thumbs out on the thighs. And if you need to adjust your stance as we do this, you can. This is kind of our peak experience of this form. It can be a little challenging, but then it gets really delicious. So we'll go through it step by step. So we're going to rise up out of our stance, not locking the knees, but lengthening the legs. We'll turn towards our mirror leg. Send your hips back so we're not hinging forward or just coming forward into the balls of our feet. The hips move back. The weight is in our heels. The knees are bent as we're facing this mirror side leg, so hips move back, and we can, almost like a squat, so we're at a tabletop here, we're looking at our mirror foot. Keep your eye on your foot as you swing your upper body over to the window leg. Now, turn your gaze from your foot upwards towards the ceiling, let your mirror shoulder open up, and then through your window foot, press through that leg to come up. Back to center. And then relax. Whew. So we're going to rise up, turn towards the mirror, the window foot, hips back, knees bend, look at this foot right underneath you. Keep your gaze there as you swing the upper body over to the other leg. The gaze comes up, the shoulder rolls open, and we push through our mirror foot, push up to come up, and then relax. So this is a little bit of work, so let's just flow through it. We'll come up, rotate, hips back, knees bend, swing the upper body over, roll the shoulder open, the gaze comes up, and press up. And relax. And again, rise, rotate towards the windows, hips back, knees bend, look at your foot, swing the upper body over to the other leg, gaze and shoulder roll open, pressing through that foot to come up. Whew. One more on each side. Let's come up and rotate, hips back, knees bend. Swing the upper body over, roll up, and then push through your foot to rise up. One more time. Rise, turn towards the windows, hips back, knees bend. Swing the upper body. Roll open, and then press through your mirror foot to come up. And rest. And then let's sweep the arms up, feet closer together, and exhale. And again, just take a few breaths to rest. So that movement generates some heat. So let's cool ourselves down. So we can sweep the arms out in front, and then letting them flow down the front of the body, just guiding the energy down over the chest to the abdomen, and then we can come around the abdomen to the back. And then here again, we're not just folding forward and everything pitches into the balls of our feet. That's not what we're doing. What we're doing is we're sending our hips backwards. The knees are unlocked. So the hips are moving back. The weight is in the heels. You can lift your toes if you'd like. And the hands can slide down the back of the legs.
And then start to bend your knees. So we're really doing more of a squat type of movement here. We're not folding. The back is kind of like a tabletop. And then the hands can start to float out in front. Your hips can sink, so your weight is mostly in your heels. And then from your heels, just press up. So we're not lifting with our back at all. It's a leg movement. So again, the hands come down. Breathe as much as you need to. And then the hands come around the waist. Send your hips back. The hands travel down the back of the body. Just go as far as is comfortable. Maybe this is as far as you want to go, which is fine. And so then from here, the hands can start to float out, but the butt still sinks. The weight is in the heels. The arms are up front. Not lifting with the back at all, just pressing through the heels, we come up. And again, take your time. So it's not so much working out as we are working in. Hips back. Hands travel down the back of the legs as much as is comfortable. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Really, just bend them a lot. Let the weight be in your butt, in your heels as the hands reach out. Press through your heels, coming up. And relax. Let's do that 2 more times. Hips back. Hands travel down, bending into the knees. It's a squat, it's not a fold. Hands come out in front, press through the heels to come up. Last time. And just go down as far as is comfortable. Do what is manageable for you. Hands reach out front, weight in the heels, pressing up, and then down. And then let's gather everything out and up, and let it settle. So the story behind this form is that Bodhidharma, the, 26th, 28th patriarch of Mahayana Buddhism, traveled to China, met the monks in the Shaolin temple who were doing just sitting meditation, and they were all sore and stiff and had weak limbs from not moving. And so he said, you need to have a strong body as well. So he developed this 8 treasures form to help balance out the practice of seated meditation with the practice of moving meditation, strengthening the limbs, getting the blood circulating and pumping, building muscles. So, it's not easy. Again, inhale the arms out and up. And then like you're kind of grabbing hold of the reins, but the thumbs are tucked in, let the hands come down. So thumbs inside the fingers as the hands come to the waist. Let your knees, we can step out a little bit, let your knees be bent. And then we'll take this mirror side hand and we're going to press like we're pressing against something. So there's some resistance. Create some isometric tension. As your hand reaches out, turn your hand down and then open, stretch all the way around. Thumb in, fingers in, and then it's like you're working a pulley system. So you've got a rope in one hand, the pulley's out in front of you, and as you pull this hand in, you're pulling the other arm out. So work the tension. Draw one hand in to the hip as the other hand gets pulled out. Thumb is facing down, and then open the fingers and rotate all the way around. Thumb in, fingers in. Work the pulley system. Pull one in as you're pulling the other one out. Strong arms, strong legs. Thumb down. Open the hand. Stretch. Thumb in, fingers. Again, pulling. Breathe as you need. Getting a nice rotation in the hips. Watch your hand out in front as you rotate. One more on each side. Pull it in as the other hand gets pulled out. Stretch. Open. Thumb in, fingers in. Last time. Work the pulley system. Thumb down. Open the hand. Stretch all the way around. Thumb in. Now the hand by your hip stays there as we pull this one back in. And then relax. Gather. And exhale. Breathe into your body. Again, align. Outside edges of the feet. Soft knees. Breathe. Backside of the heart. Lengthen through the back of the neck. Spread the collarbones. Be active in this static posture. If you want to turn your palms away, you can to open up the shoulders to get a little more length. Lift the toes so that you can really find the heels and the outside edge of the foot. Use your big toe mound to just give you some balance if you need it. Spread the floor apart. Last movement. So they call this one rising off of the heels to overcome all disease. It sounds good. So what we'll do, and when you rise off your heels, if you can't come up very high, that's fine. Even if you just let your weight come into your toes and the balls of your feet. The trick with the balance, if you're just balancing on the balls of your feet, you may wobble. Really use your toes to find the ground. Grip the ground with your toes. Let your weight then pour into the balls of your feet, and your heels may come up a little bit, maybe just a millimeter. Maybe it's almost just like a thought, and that's fine. But if you want to raise up higher, you can. And then slowly lower yourself down, let your knees be unlocked, and right before you hit the ground, just drop on the heels. And then again, gripping with the toes, rise up. Feel strength in your toes, in your feet, in your ankles, lowering down, and when you get right above the ground, drop. Let's do 5 more like that at your own pace. As you come up, if you want to do something with your hands, you can. It might make it hard to balance, but if you want to come up, you can. And then lowering down. I think there's maybe 3 more left. Two more. Last one. And then just let yourself bounce for a little bit. Maybe you're coming up and down off of your heels, bouncing on the heels. Maybe it's just the knees. Maybe it's a little bounce, a little wiggle. Maybe your teeth can just be barely touching, so you get a little kind of clatter of the teeth as you bounce. Rolling the shoulders up and down as you bounce. Maybe bending at the elbows so that your hands bounce up and down. Taking some deep breaths, audibly exhaling as you bounce up and down. Just doing whatever kind of shaking feels good to you, but we just did a lot of work. We got some blood pumping into our muscles. We got tissues relaxed and stretched, and so now we want to get everything percolating, everything bubbling. It's like effervescence. We're going to turn ourselves into glasses of champagne. Thinking about all that deep, rich, nutrient-rich blood that's deep in our bodies, in our liver, in our organs. And we're bringing it out to the surface. This blood is also very warm, warming up our extremities. It's full of oxygen, of qi, bringing all that blood and qi to all of our tissues. Breathing it into our tissues. And whenever you feel like you're complete with your shaking and jiggling, you can kind of bring it to a close. And again, just breathe deep with every cell. And exhale all the way out. And maybe hold at the bottom of the exhale for a beat or two till you get a little hungry for oxygen. And then breathe in. When we feel hungry for oxygen, that means carbon dioxide has built up in our bloodstream. Carbon dioxide helps oxygen get from the blood into the tissues. It's not a bad thing. So if you want to breathe with your whole body, on the exhale, hold out at the bottom of the exhale for a couple beats. Get hungry for air. And then as you breathe in, suck all of that oxygen out of your blood into all of your tissues. And then breathe it through. And when you feel complete with that breath rhythm, you can just return to a natural breath rhythm. And then we can sweep the arms out and up. Exhale. Not collapsing. Just resting, but still in our active posture. And then let's rub our palms together. A couple times over our faces, up and out. Back and forth over the scalp a couple times. Down the back of the neck and around, over the chest, the lower ribs and onto the belly. Around the waist to the lower back and the kidneys. Draw the hands out, shake them out. Let's pat up one arm, and down. Up the other arm, and down. And then around and down the back of the body, up the front. And one more time, around and down, up the front. And let's do 3 big sighs of relief. The last one, we'll make it a blither. All right. So that's Qigong. Great. All right. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope this is helpful. The internet worked. The class is recorded. If you'd like a recording of the class, let me know. I can send you a link to the video. And otherwise, I hope you have a great week. I'll be here next week, and we'll do it again. So yeah, enjoy major snow. Exploring that balance between fear and wisdom, and cultivating. Yeah, thank you. All right. Thanks everyone for being here. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.